Hey everybody, this is Abby from Realistic Kitchen and Gardens. Today is Wednesday, September 3rd. We are 5 weeks away from our estimated first frost here in southern Ohio. And I wanted to start with showing you the raspberries because I don't know what the hell happened, but holy moly, are we gonna have a fall raspberry year. So this is at my eye level. And I never did get the bird netting off. I had intended to take the bird netting off and move this whole thing to be like a small greenhouse for the spring to kind of extend the season. But all my raspberries are flowering now. This is above my head right here. This is maybe 5'6". I'm only 5'4". I'm really not that tall. But it gives you a perspective of how tall some of these things are, and I really should probably cut some of these so they're reachable, and they put energy into reachable fruits for me. But I don't have the heart to cut them. So there's some open blooms there. That's above my head too. These are right at chest height, so they're not even open yet. I don't even know what's going on in there. Mistakes were made. I was too lazy to start, and I'm gonna pay for it later. But look at all those blooms on that one. That's probably the very tallest one from the ground up, and maybe that one. That's probably 8 feet up, I'd say. So I don't know what's happened with my raspberry plants this year, but holy moly. Actually, this last plant, kind of as usual, is doing really, really well. This was probably the most productive one this summer. Not spring, but summer. Well, they start fruiting or flowering in the spring. Anyway, this has a bunch of blooms on it. So many blooms. Even these are above my head right here. Just barely, but they are. I feel like the primary pollinator for these are bumblebees, and I wonder if they need the vibration from them or what. But so I also have, if you're not familiar with it, I also have moved my chicken coop. There's the meat chickens, but there's my chicken coop. We moved it up this way from down near the creek over that way. We moved it. So I have 2 different clutches of youngsters this year. There's that clutch, which is probably the earlier one, maybe. And then there's that clutch, which is very tight knit. It's 3 white ones. There's a really pretty hen that I like who has this like light colored chest and throat, and then her back is like a tan brown kind of color. She's lovely. There's a rooster in there, very prominently red. I know you can't see them. They're a little too far away. There's a couple of splash. There's 2 roosters in there that are both definitely barred rock mixes. One of them shows the barred rock patterning really well right there. But it's a rooster. And then the other one, same thing, but all the pretty ones are roosters, because why wouldn't they be? I'm still torn about what that little one is. It must be a rooster based on how red its face is. Anyway, I digress. So raspberries are ridiculous, but one of the benefits of these little youngsters is that they can walk, benefits. They've been able to walk right through that electric poultry net up until, I don't know, maybe 2.5, 3 months old. So what this clutch has been doing is they've been in my raspberries during the day. Since this is the east side, all the sun comes from over here, and then during the day it starts going or coming from here and then over from the south side. So they have been rummaging around in the ground of the raspberry cage because it's not attached on the bottom. I purposely had it so that flying birds wouldn't take the fruit. For some reason, there aren't any birds, at least this was true last year, there aren't any birds that took the fruit in the fall. So I'm banking on that to be true again, obviously. If they if they do, they do. And I'm going to just prune the bloody hell out of these if it is true. But anyway, so it's kind of nice because the young chickens have kind of stamped down all the little weedy foliage on the bottom. But it also helps show you something else, is that this is an offshoot, and whether it was a berry that seeded or whether it's an actual ground shoot coming out and up, I don't know. If it is, I'm in trouble. But the theory with these raspberries, and I'll do a different caging system for them next year so that they're supported a lot more, because this support system is not working. It's kind of haphazard and just keeping the fruit off the ground. But anyway, I digress. The meat chickens are doing really good. I just got a message and I have no idea what they're talking about. Anyway, I don't have anything else up here to show you. But the weather has been absolutely gorgeous, although we do need rain. It's been high of... Today was a high of 80, which is good because that's the upper cusp for brassicas like cauliflower. Woo, it's cold down here. I just like walked into a cold draft. Oh, one more thing I can show you is I dug out the blueberries. You can see blueberry plants again. There's one. You can't really see that one because there's no red on it. 2 and 3. And then 1, 2 right behind that tuft, and 3. I mostly just cleared it so that they can continue getting sun more than anything. And then let's just poke our heads in at the ever-bearing strawberries that I put in here. The plants are well and truly covered from tall grass, but they are still alive in here. That's a strawberry plant. And that's probably as much as I can point out to you without going in for a deep dive. I've been debating having my husband run this over with the lawnmower. But I don't really want to completely shave off the tops of the strawberries this close to the winter. But at least they're there and established in or for the fall. Side note, me and my side notes today. I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up, but this grass is purple and it's gorgeous, and I'm pretty sure it's called grease grass because when you yank all this stuff off, your hands feel greasy. Anyway, digression today. Today is the day of digression. We got a lot of fun little things to show you. I love it. So headed down to row A. Ugh, just walked through a giant spider web. Is tomatoes. I am getting ready to pull the plug on every plant. Whatever's here is just going to become basically compost and mulch for them. I've gone over the varieties before in previous videos, so the last 2 videos I know I've talked pretty extensively about the 3 varieties that I actually grew, how they went, what I liked, what I didn't like, if I would grow them again. So if you're interested in that, go watch those. Side note, New Yorker tomato, which I cut down at the base very early in the season, is back and fruiting again. Pain in my butt. And then here is Florence fennel. It's a bulbing fennel that this one's doing pretty good. And then number 2 with a little bit of wood sorrel at the base of it. Number 3, I foolishly decided to try to transplant nasturtiums to try to use it as a ground cover. This is the yellow one that's established, or had been established. And then that was the orangey red one, and that was the pink one. But I think I traumatized that one too much while trying to move it. But I'm not surprised this one's doing okay. But the yellow one is very traumatized, which I don't blame it. It's very traumatizing. And then this is another Florence fennel that has got nipped at the top. And I really need to figure out, I can only assume it's rabbits. But I basically need to capture these rabbits and remove them because they're starting to eat the strawberries, and you'll see that at the end. Here is blue ribbon heading broccoli from Gurney's Seeds. They're a 55-day harvest from transplant, from 6-week-old transplants, and they finally aren't super pot bound and old and angry now. They're properly aged. So I haven't, if you've been following along, even just this spring, if you've been following along, you know I usually put row covers on all my brassicas to keep out the cabbage moths and all that. I just haven't had the energy. I mean, I have a 9-month-old baby. I don't really have the time to come out here and do that. I don't have the energy. Also, my rows are so long. Like this is minimally, I think this is right at 30 feet long of just one crop, and I have 2 more rows of brassicas. So I don't have the resources for them this year. This other half, this was the whole potato row. If you've been following from the spring, summer start. What is that crazy thing? Oh, I saw the color of that. It's it's grass. My apologies. If you've been following along since the spring, you'll know this is the potato row. I'll probably have volunteer potatoes in the spring again. That's gonna be a running joke from now on. I can feel it. But we planted we, meaning my friend and I when she was here, we planted cover crops. So this is a 3-way crop called Groundbreaker, which is it's some type of brassica. I want to say it's mustard, but I could be wrong. Oh, radish. That's what it is. It's Groundbreaker radish, which are these great big, huge, deep-rooted radishes. They are edible, but they're kind of raunchy. But the point is that these huge rooted radishes go down into the ground, and when they get frosted, the roots are killed off. And then in the space that the root has died in, nutrients can get back down in there, and water can go deeper and loosen the soil and all that. Other things are the field peas, which are just coming out. They're a little bit farther back from, or a little bit behind the radishes. Brassicas germinate very early. And then I can't remember, they must be a much longer germination time, but hairy vetch is also in the mix as kind of a nice ground cover on top. But I wouldn't know how to recognize that sprout. I usually recognize it once it's a bit bigger with its foliage. Excuse me, I really need to clean out this. This is sorbet mix violas. I did harvest the celeriac celery root. Abysmal crop. Not even worth showing, not even worth recording. I just pulled them out so they don't seed in the spring, because they'll seed in their second year after they go through a winter. Butternut squash is bleeding through. There's a watermelon there that's probably worth pizzle. Oh, I should show you that while I'm down here, but I'm not gonna. I'll catch it on the way back. All these butternut squash. This great big huge jalapeno pepper plant, ready to do another flush. I'm really quite surprised because of how cool it's been. Usually hotter weather crops really slow down in the cool weather, and in the as the days get shorter, with less light, they have less grow time basically. So yeah, the burgundy red okra, or red burgundy okra rather, is producing very well. I've been harvesting darn near every day. And this will get killed by the first hard frost. It'll get severely damaged in the first light frost, which is right around 32, and then hard frost will certainly kill the plant. Once the plant is killed off, or once I'm sick of okra, I'll probably saw it or cut it pretty, I mean, it's practically a tree here, but I'll cut it down at the base and I'll leave the roots. I personally like to leave roots in the ground. from plants because then I don't remove all the dirt. Bonfire salvia, still rocking out, having a grand old time, probably still feeding the hummingbirds as they start their migration south here in southern Ohio. Ooh, you even have sunburn. How do you manage to have sunburn? You're under okra. Well, fine. Giant red Ozark bell peppers, sweet bell peppers, and a cantaloupe plant. I've given up on a harvest from these guys because they're so late. Yeah, it was just a crapshoot for these. And peppers, I feel like peppers are a pretty easy plant once you nail down your technique for growing them. The best year I've ever had growing bell peppers was in a raised bed, and they were, in theory, super densely planted. They did really well. I had to add some potassium to them, but that was it. But ever since, when I've tried to grow them in ground, they've done abysmally for me. So there's that. Emerald Towers basil, looking gorgeous. If I used more dried basil, I would certainly be taking a bunch to dry. But I don't. I'm more apt to use lemon balm or mint. Gosh, I miss having mint. I never thought I'd say that out loud, but I miss having mint plants so I can harvest my own leaves for tea. Let's see. You probably have the most amount of fruit on you. Look at you, you little overachiever. There is one bell pepper plant that is something Napoleon. God only knows where it is. I'm not overly concerned. I could probably get a decent bit of harvest from the peppers before the first frost. The first estimated frost date is around October 10th. It can be earlier, it can be later. Mother Nature does whatever the hell she wants. And then all the, I don't know what I'm gonna do with all these. These cherry peppers or whatever they're called, and then all the cayenne. This one's, even a cayenne pepper gets sunburn, which I find really funny. I would think a hot pepper would be immune to it, but what do I know? Let's see. I guess I'll do this row first and then I'll go down there. So, wild violet petunia, one of my favorites. It's a great ground cover. I mean, ignore the grass, but all the blooms you see are all part of one plant at the base, which is great. I need to cut that grass so it doesn't reseed itself in my carrots. The one random lemon basil that volunteered itself. Orange button calendula, which I really didn't like. This is really showing off now. I don't know if I'll grow straw flower again. This is copper red straw flower from my gardener. Hello, squash bug. I enjoy how geometric it is, and the color is nice, and I like the texture of it, but I don't like that. But I also don't love the center of them when they fully open. It's not appealing to me personally. Whatever, nothing personal, just a plant I won't bother growing. And then Strawberry Fields Globe Amaranth actually is a similar texture, not quite as straw-y and papery, but not impressed with this either. I've talked about it before. It's just too everywhere. Talk about everywhere, though. I really don't have a right to say everywhere until you grasp how sprawling these 5 plants of Cherry Queen zinnia are. I mean, I think all 5 plants are rooted here, and they just are everywhere. I do like the giant variety zinnia. I'm going to try a large mix next year. I'm just trying to decide if I want a single like that or a double. There's one double. I don't know if it's one plant or if it's a mutation of a branch, but that's a double. I mean, it has a ton more petals than a single does. So this is the type that you usually want for pollinators, allegedly. And then this is the type you want for ornamental sake. I do love geometric flowers. I'm finding my joy of geometric flowers. Let's see, here's the lavender. I'm like, where is the lavender? I'm gonna start at this one because I can find it easily enough. This is the Provence lavender, very, very medicinal. Don't love it, but it's a great pest prevention crop. This zucchini is still somehow alive, even though I've run it over multiple times and broken the main stem and all that, so whatever. And then here's, is that Hidcote? Or is Hidcote the next one? You might be, you're probably, no, you are Hidcote. So you're not dormant per se. I really need to pull the grass out of it as usual. And then here's Munstead. Munstead seems to like cooler temperatures, I guess. It's flowering again. And then Elegance Lavender is in here somewhere being sad because it is overshadowed by everything. Oh, zucchini, you don't know when to quit. You ridiculous thing. There's a female flower over there. And here's a female flower right here. Ridiculous. And this is empty. There were zucchini in here, but they're not now. These are the 2 plants of Summer Dance that have produced all season. I started them indoors in April, and they are still producing quite strong. I have gotten well over 150 pounds from them. I'm so over it. I need to cut them at the base so they stop producing because I keep picking them because I'm like, oh, I don't want to waste them. Stupid. Hannah's Choice Cantaloupe is done. There, as far as I know, there's no current fruit. The one that was hanging, wherever the hell the stem was, there was one hanging up here somewhere, and I harvested it yesterday. It did a full slip, vine slip, so the plant just kindly, very gently let go of it for me when I grabbed it. So I did. I haven't cut it yet, but it's there. Oh, I lied. There's one. Excuse me. The last, not this most recent one, but the one before this one, the most recent one was harvested on August 15th. Now, I don't know if that other one had started already or what, but possibly it might have enough time to ripen another small round of melons. I have not been watering this thing at all. These, wherever it just went, there it is. These oyas in the ground are just like underground water vessels. I have not been filling them. I haven't been doing anything to the cantaloupe. I'm okay if they die. I've gotten 27 fruits from these 4 plants, so I'm good with cantaloupe. It's fine. Here's the stem. And then I guess oh, there's another one. So the pumpkins, Styrian pumpkin only produced 5, but they were indeed hull-less. 2 of them were stuck inside the thing, so I had to get forceful to get them out, breaking them. And then Pepita pumpkin, which was the smaller orange one, there's a fruit up there from it, is supposed to be a Pepita pumpkin with the hull-less seeds, and it was not. I have opened at least 2 of them, and both of them had hulls on their seeds, so I will not be growing that variety again. It also died very early in the season, whether due to disease or insect damage. Either way, it wasn't very hardy for my situation. And that's what I grow for, is my situation. I can't tell which is which until I track down where the vines are, but there's this stemming is from Waltham butternut squash, which this one is most likely a Waltham. They, if I remember correctly, they do tend to be pretty wide. And then Sarah's butternut squash is most likely the ones on the end. I got them because it's supposed to be a powdery mildew resistant plant, and the necks are supposed to be a little bit longer, which is the more useful part of a butternut squash compared to trying to futz out the bulb and peel it and chop it and all that. So I take a page out of my grandmother's book there. Here is the last large watermelon, besides that one. I don't know what's going on with that one. But this one I think is finally ready to harvest. I'm expecting this to be over 30 pounds easily. The problem is that I basically damaged the vine with some work in the garden. So I don't actually know if it's ripe or if the vine is just dying. Excuse all the bugs, they feel extremely loud. The lemon balm is having a grand old time coming back. I chopped it completely flat to the ground and it's just having a grand time. I don't know what the catnip's doing, if anything. The catnip is coming back scraggly. You can see all the little scraggles. That's catnip. That's catnip. I may cut that down again. I wouldn't mind if that died. Freaking catnip. And then I'm gonna walk this side because it's easier. I did seed out another cover crop in here. I haven't done a very good job of seeding it. I just kind of slapped it in and said, here, good luck. I really should clear it properly though, get all this grass out and give the cover crop a good chance to really dig in. Another groundbreaker one. Here is there we are. This is Promise cabbage, which is a green storage type variety. I need to apparently already get the bug stuff out. 2 plants of winter boar curly kale, and then 2 plants of purple moon curly kale. The Bloomsdale long-standing spinach is sprouting very nicely. I wish I had watered this beforehand because then it'll show up very easily on camera for you, but there's plenty of it, I promise. This seed was from Home Seed, so I don't know, Holmes, like Holmes County, so I don't know if it's treated to sprout easier or not, but I've been babying it a little bit. And then here is burgundy sprouting broccoli plants. This one's already chewed up. You can see the caterpillars on this one, assuming my camera will pay attention. So I need to spray this one. I think I'll try spraying it with neem oil, which is a natural thing. I want to buy BT spray, which is the genus species name abbreviation for a specific bacteria that targets insects. I don't know the name of it though. Probably some kind of bacillus would be my general guess, but it hasn't hit all of them yet, but they've only been out for about a week. Let's swing wide here for carrots. Bolero Nantes carrots, doing pretty good. Where am I? Here's a straggler. But most of them are about this size now. Good couple true leaves. They're working on it. Hopefully the rabbit doesn't eat that, but it's probably focused on the strawberries. Dang thing. There's another good carrot plant for you to see. Yeah, most of them are this size. There could, ooh, there's actually 2 right there, right next to each other. I'll need to thin them out. I didn't thin them very well last year or in the spring, so I decided to just take a chance and seed 1 in each spot and see how germination goes. Of course, it was like 90 degrees when I did that, but they're doing pretty good. That's a nice chunky one. I think, so I seeded this in the end of July, if not the very first week of August. I thought I had a tag here, but I guess not. I'm thinking of my fennel probably. So I will probably harvest mid-October, early November. Carrots can withstand a frost, no problem. And I even did an experiment with doing, leaving carrots in over the worst of the winter, and they did great. The greens obviously died off, but the greens are not the important part once the carrot root is grown. Here is Brussels sprouts, Red Bull from my gardener. This is a new variety for me. These won't be harvested until around between Thanksgiving and Christmas, sometime around then. And then here is, I think, some type of cabbage, if I remember correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, and this is Tiara. I think that says tundra cabbage, which is a lightly savoyed variety of supposed to be very cold hardy cabbage that will be harvested. I think that one's the spring harvest one. So you plant it in the fall and then you harvest it in the spring. Like it's a long time between seed and harvest, which basically keeps you from having to start them in the winter to transplant out and then harvest in the spring. We'll see. It's a new thing for me. And then there's a few Tiara. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4. These still don't look like Tiara cabbage to me, but we're gonna have to find out what it is. You know what it is? It looks almost like cauliflower to me. These two look like cauliflower. Those two do definitely look like cabbage, but I don't know what happened here. Allegedly it's Tiara cabbage. I bet it's not, but we'll find out. And then here's a red variety of cabbage, Boscaro. I did try growing this. I can't remember if it was a spring or fall variety, but it was last year. I tried growing it and it did okay. Red cabbages always take way longer than they say. I usually put the number of days they're supposed to be on here, but I only have the seed started date. And then the last variety of Brussels sprouts. I always do 2 varieties of Brussels sprouts each year in case one craps out. I still have something. Is Sylvia Brussels sprout. I have a new variety on my radar for next year called Franklin. So we'll see how those do. But anyway, a rock. Wow, that's rare here. In Ohio, we just grow clay, not rocks. Meanwhile, I grew up in Massachusetts and we joked we grew rocks. Anyway, Coral Fountains Amaranth. This one is finally like really starting to amp up. It's very, not stunted per se, but behind because it's so close to the compacted soil in the path compared to being like that one. This Coral Fountains Amaranth has been in like prime territory all along, and it's almost at the end of its life cycle, I think. Carmenat pole bean, I posted this morning or yesterday morning on Realistic Kitchen's Facebook page that I just harvested another 2.25 pounds of beans. So this is 16 feet of plants and I get 2 pounds of beans per pick, and I've already gotten like 3 or 4 picks. So I'm pretty happy with that, pretty effortless. And while we're in shot, here is the lovely, I believe this plant is specifically the Fedco stock of Florenza sunflower. Now I differentiate only because these are beautifully uniform. The color is really good consistently. That one's a little stunted, and I thought there was one there, but I guess not. This one might be Fedco too, but then it gets into the stuff from Pine Tree Seeds, who I love her. She has great stuff. I believe it's her. But they're much more varied in color. So like this it's not as burgundy. So you can see the burgundy. This is a bit lighter, a little more yellow leek. I talk about it all the time. They're lovely plants. If you care about genetics, you do. If you don't, then you don't, whatever. But these are a bit more varied. They still follow along the same idea, but they're more varied. These ones are so fun. They're cute. Much more yellow, but they're cute. They're like they make me think of a smiley face. And then also while we're in shot, though I don't know how well you can see them, is Champion of England shelling pea. These were seeded from the stuff that I grew this season, who is also from, it's either Pine Tree Seeds or Park Seeds. But I do have my first pod. I really loved this variety. We'll see how this does though, because they got 6 feet tall in the spring. I wanted to try them in the fall. I actually just found a variety I want to try from Territorial Seeds that is a sugar snap pea that grows to be 5 feet tall, which sounds excellent because I hate bending over for beans. Call me petty, but I don't have a great back, even at 30. So if I can keep from stooping unnecessarily, I will. Fight me. And then the last, look how burgundy this one is. You're so happy. I love sunflowers. I've missed growing sunflowers, so I'm really glad I actually ponied up and did it this year. Which reminds me of this. I forgot about this teeny little one in here. The last of the coral fountains amaranth. It's a beautiful plant, but it's very unruly. It's a very, very large plant, and next year I have different plans to space things a little differently now that I know, because a packet can say certain spacing, but the plant will do what it wants. Anyway, all this ground cover is both grass and peanuts. The peanuts, in theory, will be harvested in October. I have no hope or expectation of a successful crop, but on the bright side, if nothing else, God, that's a big, not praying mantis. What's the other thing? Locusty, grasshoppery thing. On the bright side, even if I don't get an actual crop out of these peanuts, they've been a great nitrogen fixing cover crop, and they'll be a great green manure when I chop them down and mulch them in. Flavor Fest strawberry needs more water, damn it. These were purchased as started plants from Berlin Seeds in Berlin, Ohio, or Sugar Creek, or wherever they are. The soil's very dry. We haven't had a lot of good rain, and I put a little bit of compost on top, but it's not doing great. Are you trying to put out a runner already? So some of these are doing pretty good, but other ones are like, hello, are you alive still? Maybe. See, this one you can see they've been nipped. So I think that one looks dead. Dead, dry and dead. This one looks pretty good. This one has produced a new leaf. That one looks ripped up too. Birds will also pull out started plants if they're not anchored in the ground well enough. So sometimes you'll see that too. But I mean, that's nipped off too. That almost looks sunburned or cold burned or something. It got down to 49 degrees last night, so I wouldn't be that surprised. So these are doing okay. See, you can definitely see on this one the damage from whatever's trying to eat them. This one's dry and dead. That one may produce more green. That one's producing green. Where are you? Right there. This one might be dead. This one might be one of the ones I found and stuck back in. There was 2 dug out yesterday, and I watered pretty heavily yesterday. But that one's probably dead. That one's producing more green. That one's producing more green. That one's producing green. This one is too. This is definitely one of the ones I put back in last night. That's more green. We'll see. Ooh, look, more mustard from when I had my mustard seed plants over here. That's producing green. That one might be dead, but we'll see. That one might produce green. This is definitely one of the ones I put back in, but it is producing a new leaf. And then this one had everything nipped off. Everything. So I know there's a plant there, and I know that's a strawberry, but it is producing green. And there's, no, I guess not. That might have been the last one. I forget. I thought there it is. There's the last one. But I don't see any green. That one is definitely out for quite a while, so that might be dead. But anyway, excuse my in-depth study of my strawberries. It's too dark for me to water now anyway, but whew, okay. Corn is well and done. I need to cut it down and get it out of here and get cover crops in, because corn is a super heavy feeder. Petunias that I bought on a whim are still going in here. One of the giant varieties. There's white, there's purple. I probably won't be able to, oh, there it is. Purple, white. I haven't seen the red in a long time. Excuse me. I don't know. Haven't seen the red ones in a long time. But anyway, if you like this kind of stuff, please like, comment, and subscribe for more. And questions, comments, put them in the comment section below. Love to see the interaction. Love to share my crazy gardening adventures with y'all. And if you like this kind of stuff, please also follow my Facebook page. I usually post like specific variety and analysis on there. So like I'll be doing the tomato one really soon because I just finished harvesting all of the tomatoes for the season, that kind of thing. So I do some pretty in-depth, I'm going to say calculation for lack of a better term, but that's all for now. Thanks. Bye.